Welcome everyone to the Data Science Symposium. It's really exciting to see so much interest in data science at Vanderbilt, and it feels like the last couple of years have been really exciting because there's this sort of groundswell of collaboration and interdisciplinary discussions to promote data science at Vanderbilt. I want to say a few things before we start. So first, I want to thank the Vanderbilt Trans-Institutional Programs, which are funding this symposium through the Office of the Provost. We have a trans-institutional program called Data Science Visions that this symposium is part of. And I want to tell you just a little bit about the kinds of things that we've been doing and a couple things that we are still going to do this year. So the goals of our TIP program have been really to build community at Vanderbilt in anticipation of something larger. And so we've been bringing speakers in and have the symposium, building communication networks, which turns out to be one of the hardest things. There are a lot of us and we don't talk to each other necessarily. So figuring out who we are has been a big part of this. Another part has been to try to spark collaborations across different fields. And so the way that we've been doing this is through these data think tanks. And the idea is that if you are a researcher who has some data, but you don't necessarily know some latest methods to analyze it, or you want to try something different, then we will put you in a room with a bunch of experts who have that expertise with different kinds of data. And so that leads to a really interesting discussion with people from different backgrounds who all sort of have dealt with data, but it's not necessarily the same. And we've had 3 of these so far. The first was on the TERRA data. TERRA is a Tennessee Education Research Alliance, which curates a data set of all public school information for the state of Tennessee. It's an amazing data set. And so they're interested in questions like what improves teacher performance and teacher retention, and why do some schools succeed and others fail, etc. So we did that. The second one was on satellite imaging of Peru to try to figure out how to possibly automatically find ruins, Inca ruins that have never been found before. So that was really interesting. And the third one was on clinical genetic data of Rett syndrome, a neurological syndrome. So all 3 of those were really fun. We came up with a lot of ideas, and all 3 of them are going to the next phase and are going to start some collaboration between people who in some cases didn't even know each other. So this is something that we want to do a lot more of moving forward. So if you have data and you're interested in doing one of these, come talk to us and we can set it up. And then we've been focused also on making connections to people outside of Vanderbilt, from industry, government, and other academic places. So we've visited some other data science institutes, and we've brought some speakers from industry with the idea that as we launch new educational programs, we want our students to be connected, to have opportunities for internships, etc. So that's the kind of stuff we're doing. I want to advertise one event that's happening next Friday, so a week from today, also in the law school, but not in this room, in the Moore room, which is basically upstairs and across the hall, I think. And it's going to be a forum on the use of data in the criminal justice system. So for example, predictive policing and sentencing, and with a particular focus on issues relating to fairness and equity and the biases that exist. So that's going to be moderated by Chris Slobogin, who's faculty at the law school. And we have, the font is kind of small here, but we have 5 experts coming from all over the country who are really sort of leading experts in these areas. We're also going to hear a little bit about this today because we have one talk on predictive policing, I think, and then our keynote speaker also works in this area as well. So if you want to come to this, and I strongly suggest you do, I don't expect you to remember this registration thing, but just let me know or email me, or just be on the lookout for it. If you go to the university calendar, you'll see the event and you can register from there. So the next thing I want to report on is this university-wide committee that the provost appointed, and Hugh Shear and myself have co-chaired it, and it has membership from all over the university. And this was, our charge was to do strategic planning to figure out how Vanderbilt should invest in data science moving forward. And so we've pretty much concluded that work, and we're writing up a report that in the near future will be made public. And we are recommending, we're sort of taking stock of all of the data science expertise that exists on campus and the needs, and what are the, what could help Vanderbilt research the most and students. And so we are going to recommend that that Vanderbilt invest in a big sort of interdisciplinary initiative that includes several features. It's going to include new interdisciplinary faculty across all aspects of Vanderbilt, and this would be not only sort of people you might think of as data scientists, but also people who study the sociological impact of data on society and institutions, and also people who have novel data sets, and the idea is to get them all working together. And also, the plan is to bring research staff who are very well trained and are into collaborating and can help a lot of the research groups on campus launch their research to the next level. And we're proposing that there are several things that everyone at Vanderbilt can take advantage of. For example, things like office hours, if you have a problem with your data or your code. The data think tanks that we've been doing, even more in depth, a data incubator program, which will be a serious commitment of maybe a few months of you being embedded in a group of data scientists so that they can help you work on your research and train you kind of as an apprenticeship, so that when you're done with that incubator, you or someone from your group, your grad student or postdoc or whoever, really knows what they're doing. So we hope to launch these things in the very near future. And then we're also recommending lots of new educational programs. So a master's degree, a new master's degree, a 4+1 option, and undergraduate minor, which would lead to a major as well. So we're recommending all of this happen. We're also recommending that we have a lot of informal training for everyone, because that seems to be a common complaint. I don't know, I want to learn Python and I don't know how to do that, or how do I do version control? We want to have plentiful opportunities for everyone and free to be able to educate themselves in any of these areas. And also provide lots of opportunities for immersion for our undergrad students in data science. So a way to sort of hook up students who are interested to research groups across campus. So all of this will be in the report that eventually we'll make public, but the recommendation is to really ramp up the data science on Vanderbilt, and especially the connectedness of it, because there are many groups doing data science, but it's not so much, we don't share ideas across different schools and colleges as much as we could. Okay, so just a couple logistics. Actually, did anyone have any questions about what I just said? Yes?
I was curious about, are there any concerns about how this will impact other departments and their data science, or just that it'll grow uniformly? Are there any problems with having a separate data science department?
We're not proposing a department. We're proposing some kind of a trans-institutional institute, which would not be a department. So you wouldn't have people hired into that, but it's a way of connecting people in existing departments. That's what we're proposing. What will happen is not my decision. So this is the program. We have posters. If you just arrived and haven't had the chance to look at them, there are some great posters, and there will be opportunity to look at these later in the day. We're going to have a first session at 10 o'clock with 5 or 6 speakers who are Vanderbilt researchers who will tell us about the research they do. Then we're going to have a session where first we'll hear a report from Doug Schmidt on the Research IT Committee of Vanderbilt, which is another big strategic planning that's going on of how to help us all with our IT needs. And then we'll have a lightning talk session, which has, I guess, 15 speakers or so. And I wrote 2-minute talks, but I was told I should not say that. It's 1 minute. But we won't yank you off the stage because there is time for a little more. Then I'm gonna ask you to go have lunch, get your box lunches, which will be outside, and bring them in as fast as you can so that we can start our panel discussion at 12. Some of you have dietary restrictions like gluten, no gluten, etc. There will be lunches labeled as such, so go find, they won't have your name on them, but they'll have the type of food. We'll have a panel discussion on the ethics of data, which I'm looking forward to. We'll have another session of short talks, coffee break. Then I'm really excited about our keynote talk. Dr. Patrick Ball, who's sitting back there, is really the world's expert on using data to promote human rights. So I'm really excited about hearing that. And at the end of the day, we're going to present student poster awards. So the posters were all judged, and we will have a winner and a couple runners up, and they will come up here and present their poster to the whole room. And we'll give them significant cash prizes. So stick around for that as well. One last thing for the talks. We're on a tight schedule, so you'll have 10 minutes. I've asked the chairs to be strict about that. After the 10 minutes, there's 2 minutes of questions, during which the next speaker should come up and be ready so that at the end of the 2-minute question period, they can go. Any questions? All right, let's have the first session.